Have you recently felt like you were being treated unfairly at work, but you just weren't quite sure if it actually crossed a legal line? It's a really heavy, isolating feeling, right? I mean, you go to work to earn a living, to build a career, and suddenly you find yourself navigating this absolute maze of unfairness. Well, today, we're cutting through the noise. We're going to break down exactly what workplace discrimination looks like in Los Angeles, what your legal rights are, and most importantly, how those rights are actively enforced. So picture this. Have you been passed over for a promotion simply because of your age? Or maybe you just found out you're being underpaid compared to your peers, even though your performance is totally stellar. These are incredibly common situations. But here's what you need to know right out of the gate, and this is so important. These are not just bad days at the office. You're not just dealing with a tough boss. Depending on the context, these are actual potential legal violations that are messing with your livelihood.
The absolute crucial point here is that your employer owes you a safe space, period. We're talking about things like general and sexual harassment, sudden and completely unjustified demotions, constantly being overlooked for promotions you've clearly earned, or having to brush off inappropriate jokes and slurs. This kind of stuff fundamentally changes your workplace from a professional environment into a hostile one. U.S. employers are legally obligated to keep your work environment free from these exact stressors. When they don't, they're exhibiting unacceptable and, frankly, illegal behaviors.
Section 1. Protected characteristics. Who the law covers. Okay, so the legal system outlines some very specific protected characteristics. This includes your race and nationality, your religion, your age, any physical disabilities you might have, your gender, sexual orientation, and even pregnancy. If you've faced adverse actions, like those sudden demotions or the harassment we were just talking about, based on any of these traits, you are legally protected. And what's really amazing here is that this applies to you whether you are just sitting in a chair for an interview as a prospective hire, or you're an employee who's been loyal to the company for 20 years.
Section 2. The Shield, Federal, and State Laws. Think of the law like a layered shield. On one side, you have the heavy hitters of federal law, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, the Equal Pay Act, the Age Discrimination Act, and the Rehabilitation Act. These basically set the national baseline. But on the other side, if you live in LA, you also have California's Fair Employment and Housing Act. When building your case, top discrimination lawyers in law will look at both these federal acts and the specific California laws to create this airtight shield around your rights. California law is famously robust when it comes to protecting you from workplace anxieties.
Section 3. Real results. Holding employers accountable. $5.5 million. That is a massive number, right? And it's a real settlement secured in a class action lawsuit for unpaid wages. The defendant here wasn't some tiny mom-and-pop shop. It was a major government services contractor. It really goes to show that absolutely no entity is too large to be held accountable when they decide to violate employment laws. And here's another huge result. $4.5 million. This was another wage and hour class action for unpaid wages, but this time it was secured against the cleaning company. When companies try to systematically underpay the very people doing the hard work, the financial restitution ordered by the courts can be, quite literally, life-changing.
But hey, it isn't just about massive class actions involving hundreds of people. In cases of direct, individual mistreatment, the results are equally powerful. This figure of $750,000, that was secured for just one individual in a sexual harassment case at a hospitality company. Another settlement for that exact same amount, $750,000, was secured for an employee who faced wrongful termination by a company that claimed they were just downsizing. Sure they were. So when you look at the big picture, we are literally talking about millions of dollars recovered for employees each and every year. These aren't just numbers on a screen. They represent real justice. They represent financial compensation achieved for everyday people who became victims of discrimination or wage theft, but who made the incredibly brave decision to stand up and fight back instead of just walking away quietly.
Section 4. Why choose Bibiyan Law Group? Because when you are looking for a seasoned Los Angeles workplace discrimination attorney, you absolutely need a passionate, decorated team that gets real results.
I absolutely love this quote from a client named Fiorella. She said, "I was turned down by a few other law firms, but this law firm took me seriously and won." Working with attorneys Joshua, Ariella, Vidong, and Iona, her case was settled in just 7 months. 7 months! This perfectly highlights that Bibiyan Law Group is willing to fight tooth and nail for cases that other firms might simply walk away from. They actually listen, and they take your situation seriously. And then there's this great feedback from Charles, who is dealing with a wrongful termination lawsuit. He noted that they kept him in the loop with all the details and supported him right up until he got his settlement. Look, the legal system is incredibly complex, but the good news is you don't have to be a legal expert yourself. The right team supports you completely and keeps you fully informed every step of the way, which totally takes the mystery and anxiety out of the whole process.
It really boils down to this super straightforward 3-step process, which is exactly how another client, Kali, experienced it. Step 1, you literally just tell them what happened. Step 2, they handle everything. All the heavy legal lifting, the confusing paperwork, the stressful negotiations. Step 3, you just get updates until the case is closed. It is specifically designed to be as stress-free as humanly possible for you.
The biggest takeaway here today is that you do not have to navigate workplace injustice alone. Reaching out to a dedicated Los Angeles discrimination lawyer is, without a doubt, the absolute best way to secure justice and protect your livelihood in LA County. They know the courts, they know the federal laws, and they know the California Fair Employment and Housing Act inside and out.
If any of what we've talked about today resonates with your current work situation, you can get a completely free, no-obligation consultation with a top discrimination lawyer Los Angeles. Just reach out to the Bibiyan Law Group, who are also known as Tomorrow Law, by calling 323-741-4479 or 310-438-5555. They have the years of deep expertise needed to evaluate your exact, unique situation. I'm going to leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Are you ready to stop accepting unfair treatment and finally secure the compensation you actually deserve? You have rights, you have protections, and there are decorated legal professionals ready right now to stand up for you. Don't let workplace discrimination dictate your future. Take back your power and explore your legal options today.